Contrary to what you might believe, there is actually a reason that you're not creative. The reason you're not creative is because there's an enemy against you. There is actually a force, and you aren't aware of it, but it wants to ruin your fucking life. This force wants to do absolutely fucking everything and will do everything to make sure that your life is a living hell when it comes to you being creative. If when you go to make music, you feel that your mind goes blank, you feel that your mind wanders and doesn't give you any sort of creative output when you call for it to, and you kind of have labeled yourself as a not creative person in the past or in the present, then you've clicked the right video. In this video, I will share with you what no other YouTubers are going to share with you. I'm going to tell you the actual reasoning behind this. I'm going to tell you why it happens, and I'm going to tell you how to overcome it. Now, by the end of this video, I'm going to share with you an actual approach that you can take that within 30 minutes of doing it, after you watch this entire video and you do the thing that I'm going to share with you, you will unlock a creative potential that you didn't think was possible. Like, you might label yourself as someone who's not creative or doesn't have it in them to be creative. I'm telling you, by the end of this video, you will change your mind. Now, I remember when I started making music too, I went through this exact same problem, and I have multiple stories that I could tell you of times where I would want to make music, I would get a bunch of motivation, I would be on cloud 9 because I'd be ready. I'd just be like, fuck yeah, we're gonna make some music, we're finally gonna get it done, we're gonna make a fucking banger tonight. I would go find a beat, I would put it in FL, and it was almost as if I opened the notepad to go write some lyrics and literally mind goes blank. It literally nothing there. And this caused a lot of pain within me, and I just didn't understand, and I would start to label myself as someone who's not creative. I would start to tell myself that I just didn't have what it took. I just didn't have like the natural talent that a lot of people do, because I would see all of these artists just be able to write these super exquisite lyrics that just didn't even make sense to me. How they came up with it, I just felt like maybe I didn't have the experience that I needed in life, and I was just kind of a loser because I didn't know what the fuck to write, or they were just writing really poetic words and I didn't understand how they, like, where the fuck are you getting these words from? Maybe you aren't experiencing that, but that's what I personally have experienced. And when I saw these people do that, it would give me a little bit of frustration, but also some motivation at the same time. So I would go and try it, and nothing ever happened. And it was every single time that I would try it and nothing would happen, what I would experience was this thing that I told you about earlier, this thing inside of me that made my life hell. You probably are currently experiencing it, and you probably experience it all the time. And that thing inside of you is called resistance. And I'm going to explain what I mean by resistance, but first you need to understand that resistance isn't actually the problem. That's a symptom. So resistance is shown in multiple different ways, and I'm going to explain some examples of what resistance actually looks like so that you can identify it. However, there's a deeper problem than resistance itself. Resistance is actually a side effect of a bigger, deeper problem. But resistance essentially looks like, in, for example, me, procrastination was a big resistance that I have. Even for my work, like recording here, what I would tell myself is that I don't have the inspiration, I shouldn't force it, I should do it when I feel like it, or today's just not the day, or this can't be forced, creativity can't be forced, it has to become natural. These are forms of resistance, and these are things that your brain is going to absolutely do everything it fucking can to convince you that this is true. It will literally start to talk shit to you and tell you that these things are true. That's resistance. It's trying to do everything it can to not get you to be creative. It's trying to convince you that maybe you should take a break because it's not the right time. Any of this bullshit, it doesn't matter. That's resistance. But where does resistance actually come from? Now, I know what you're gonna think when you hear this. You're gonna think this is bullshit. It's not bullshit. Resistance comes from fear. Now, I don't necessarily know why you're scared, but I'm gonna give you some examples of why you might be scared so that you can kind of connect the dots a little bit and understand where to go from here. Your brain automatically wants to do anything that it can to get away from pain. That's what your brain does. It just wants to escape pain. If you're in pain, you go to the doctor because you want to get away from the pain. This is the same thing when you're trying to invoke creativity. There's an amount of pain that comes with being creative. You might feel like the things that you're doing, the things that you're coming up with, maybe the flows on top of the beat, the words that you're writing out as lyrics, these things create pain because they're not where you want them to be. And the way that your brain escapes the pain is by creating this resistance that comes in these barrage of thoughts that tell you to stop, that tell you to give up, and that you aren't worthy and that you're not good enough, all of these different things, they are resistance. The way that you actually become creative is you fight this resistance head on and you tell it to fuck off. Being creative is not a beautiful process. You don't get to run through a meadow of flowers, sit down on the grass, and just write all of these crazy exquisite lyrics and everything just flows to you. That is bullshit. Creativity comes from sitting at your desk, looking at a fucking wall and feeling all of the thoughts of wanting to give up and being fucking bored with yourself and literally hating the position that you're in, but pushing through it anyway. This isn't what you want to hear. You want me to tell you that there's some secret tactic to unlocking the creativity in your brain to become a better person, but it's all bullshit. My camera just died, so the screen is black, but I was just preaching to you, bro. Boredom is how you become creative. And you have to face the boredom. There's going to be resistance that comes from it. You are not going to want to do it. You're probably going to give up multiple times. But I'm telling you, you need to tell all of the thoughts that you have to fuck off. You need to face the pain that you're going to go through to be creative. That's just the reality. I know a lot of people aren't going to resonate with this. They aren't going to understand. They're going to say it's bullshit. There's tactics. What can I do to be more creative? What thing can I do to be more creative? It's all bullshit, bro. You can't do anything specifically. You have to sit with your mind. You have to stare at a fucking wall, stare at a notepad, stare at a piece of paper, and just fucking face the pain and see what your brain thinks of. That's just the reality of it. Don't listen to your brain, just go face the pain. If you want extra help with your music, go first link in the description. I'll show you how to get better at your music very fast. So yeah, go first link in the description. Thanks for watching.